I'm living in love and light. Yes, I am. I'm living in love and light. Yes, I am. I'm living in the truth that love has healed my life, because I'm talking about, yes, I'm talking about, I'm talking about love and light. I'm living in love and light. Yes, I am. I'm living in love and light. Yes, I am. Well, I'm living in the truth that love has healed my life, because I'm talking about, yes, I'm talking about, I'm talking about love and light. I'm just going to preach a little now.
Welcome to the Way of
I know
Mastery.
how it is every now and then. You just
Welcome
get
to
out there
the
in the
Way
world
of
and you
Mastery.
feel like you're all alone.
Sometimes you feel like you're all
Let me
alone.
tell you something. There's nothing to fear, because you are not alone.
You are not alone.
Just look deep inside yourself. Are you breathing? I'll ask you, are you breathing? Okay then, God is with you. There's nothing to fear. Just step out that door and walk into the world, and you're living in the truth that love has healed your life, because I'm talking about, yes, I'm talking about, I'm talking about
Mighty Companion. This is Earl Purdy. This is Earl Purdy, and I'm here to do the Way of Mastery. We're here for the Way of Mastery. And I'm so glad to have my mighty companions with me. It always feels so good to have you with me. I so look forward to the time that we spend together. Thank you for sending me all the hearts. I love you. I appreciate you too. You are really helping me to wake up, and I hope I'm really helping you to wake up. And I want to say a quick shout out to Gay and Omar and Christopher and to Leisha. And I also want to give a shout out to Scott and Janet and William and Myrna and Janet and Kevin and Kevin and Totsi and Mark and all the rest of you that are coming online, and Rich and Claire and Danny, all of you that are coming online right now, to go deeper into who we really are, to take a minute to get off the stage, to get out of our personal movie and our personal dramas. This is intermission time. This is when we get together and we get back to center and we remember who we really are beyond what is happening in what we perceive as our own personal movie, our own personal dream. Much love to you, Christopher. Rich, thanks for checking it out. You know, one of the things that I want to make sure that I say that I haven't been saying the last few weeks is that the only guideline for this Way of Mastery gathering is that you need not believe the ideas, you don't have to accept the ideas, you don't have to welcome the ideas. Some of the ideas may be hard to believe. Some of the ideas might be quite startling. So we're not really here to analyze the ideas at all. It's really, according to the truth, it's the use of the ideas that will give the ideas meaning to you and show you that the ideas are true. So we're going to be on page 51. And in the Way of the Heart, part 1, the Way of the Heart, lesson 4, following the thread of desire. And we're going to be on page 51, which is an exercise. It's called an exercise in trusting desire. So tonight we're going to continue the theme. We're going to finish up the theme of desire. We've been talking about desire and how you should feel innocent about your desires and how you should not be judging your desires. I really want to apply the ideas, don't you? Don't you really want to apply the ideas? I do too. So the first thing that we need to do is hear it, right? Now, I'm going to take you through an exercise. We're going to do it a little bit differently tonight from the Way of Mastery. I'm going to take you through an exercise. So I'd like to invite you right now to kind of really concentrate on what I'm saying. Let yourself hear it. And then see if you can do what I'm telling you to do out of the Way of Mastery right now. So take a deep breath wherever you are, if you can, not if you're in a car or something, but if you can. What I want to get you to do right now is just create a structure by which you're going to have this exercise. I say it can be practice, and it can be practiced in a way that fits into your life. Again, it need not take more than 5, 10, or 15 minutes. Initially, perhaps 3 or 4 times a week. Eventually, you will be doing this all the time. And the reason why you will be doing this all the time, would you like to know why you will be doing this all the time? You will be doing this all the time because you will be creating deliberately. Would you like to be a deliberate creator? It's time to be a deliberate creator. So for just 10 or 15 minutes, we're going to take 10 or 15 minutes. I want you to set aside your world. What do I mean by set aside your world? I'm talking about setting aside your perceptions and your judgments and your beliefs about how things should be and what is the truth and what's not the truth. Set aside your world. Then there's one other thing I'd like for you to remember. Remember that you need do nothing. You need do nothing so the world can wait. You need do nothing so the world can wait. Relax the body. Relax the body and close the eyes. Relax the body and close the eyes. Relax your body and close your eyes. And let your breath become very deep and let your breath become very rhythmic. Deep and rhythmic, because that relaxes the nervous system and that seduces the controller of your mind. The controller of your mind is called the ego. The ego is the critic inside you that decides what thoughts are acceptable and what thoughts are not. Lay aside that part of you that wants to discern what thoughts are acceptable and what thoughts are not. By the way, the critic is never something that you created. It's not even really real. The inner critic is something you let live in your mind that was made up by a lot of other frightened minds called teachers and parents sometimes. So as you relax the body, 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 as you relax the mind, as you relax the mind, ask yourself, what do I truly want? Earl, ask yourself, what do I truly want? 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 What do I really want right now? What is it that I really want right now? Ask yourself, what is it that I really want right now? What is it that you really want right now? Not what you should want, not what you ought to want. What is it that you really and truly want right now? You might really want a refrigerator. But because you're trying to be spiritual, you wouldn't say, I want a refrigerator. You're going to, so when I say ask for what you truly want, and I ask you not to judge what you truly want, then don't judge what your desire is. Just ask yourself what you truly want. What I truly want is a complete ending to the separation at any level that I think I have between me and God, my Creator. I truly want is to go beyond any sense of separation from Source. But what you really want might be something different, and that's okay. But when you ask for what you truly want, what do I want you to do next? I want you to notice the feelings in the body. And don't forget that we're online, we're live, so that when you come out of the exercise, you can communicate with your other mighty companions that are all. Okay, there's a little bit of a challenge with the connection. So if it pauses, if the broadcast stops, just stay where you are. It usually automatically reconnects. So if the broadcast stops, just stay where you are, and it usually reconnects. Okay. So what you want to do is, again, ask yourself, what do I truly want? What do I truly want? Notice the feelings that you're having in your body. Notice the way that you're feeling in your body, and allow the way that you feel in your body to go on for just a minute or two. Then stop and open your eyes and write down everything that you remember. Whatever it is that you remember about what you were feeling when you were asking for your desire, whatever that is, write it down. Whatever that desire is, write it down. Take note of it. Record it. And then after you do that, take a deep breath, relax again, and repeat the process. What is it that I really want? What is it that I really want? What is it that I really want? That's right, Demola. The ego is a little frantic now. It's trying to disrupt this communication, but it won't be successful doing it, because really we are telepathically in communication with each other, all of us anyway. So write it down, repeat the process, place your hand on your heart. Place your hand on your heart, breathe into it a few times. Place your hand on your heart, breathe into it a few times, and then ask, what do I truly desire? What do I truly desire? What do you truly desire? What do you truly desire? What do you truly desire? And then allow the process to be what it is. And then you will do this over another period of 10 or 15 minutes. So basically, you're going to repeat the process at least 6 or 7 times. And then you want to write down whatever comes to you. And you want to put that aside. You want to put aside what you wrote down that came up when you were answering the question, what do you truly want and what do you truly desire? So what you want to do is you want to put that over to the side. And when you've done this 6 times or 7 times, you should have 6 or 7 sheets of paper that you've gone through this process. And then what you want to do is you want to begin to look back through all the things that came up and ask yourself, what is it that I'm repeating over and over again? Every time I ask, what do I truly desire? Every time I ask, what is it that I truly want? What is it that I keep saying over and over again? What is the pattern that I'm noticing when I ask for what I truly want and ask for what I truly desire? Whatever that may be, what do you want to do? Well, what you want to do is notice the pattern. You want to notice the thread that seems to run throughout all the exercise periods. And if you allow yourself to begin to put your energy on that, then it's going to begin to clear up the obstacles inside your consciousness that block that desire from being consistently lived from. That if you focus on it, if you don't judge it, then you will start to go past any of the blocks that keep you from experiencing the manifestation of that desire. Now, I want to take a moment to say something that's going to be really a trip that I feel totally compelled to say. And what that is we don't always perceive our own best interest. So sometimes the desires that we have are not necessarily the desires that would be ultimately for our greater good, even though that desire is not bad or sinful. There's nothing wrong to have whatever desires you really want. But also keep in mind that if you are a consciously evolving being, you've probably been saying you want the higher power, God or source, to be in charge of your experience, that you want the part of you that's infinite intelligence and infinite love to be in charge. So that means sometimes your desires may be actually overruled in terms of the physical manifestation of that desire. So if you're a person and you've said, I want the Holy Spirit to decide for me, I want the voice for God to decide for me, I want my higher self to decide for me, well, then that decision for your greater good might be you do not experience the manifestation of that desire. But that's because it would not have been for your own best long-term interest and joy. So there's nothing wrong with preferring what you prefer. There's nothing wrong with desiring what you want to desire. But try not to automatically assume that just because you desire something, that desire needs to absolutely physically manifest. Do you know that if you are beginning to wake up spiritually, if you're beginning to wake up in your consciousness, then you're going to always give God the authority to overrule you. In other words, in my life, I give the higher power the power of attorney. So I ask for anything I want. I ask for anything that I desire. But I am conscious enough after all these years to know I do not always perceive my own best interest. So I don't mind asking for what I desire, but at the same time being okay as much as possible about whether or not that desire actually physically manifests. Because your soul knows that the reason you have cleverly decided to trick yourself into blocking your desire by sometimes judging it is that it says the soul knows that were it to follow such a thread through whole and total commitment, the soul would be embarking on the pathway set before you by God that knows how to take you home. So what does that mean? It means that there's a part of you that knows that if you absolutely follow the instructions that you're receiving in the way of mastery from our higher divine self, that it's going to take you home. It's going to take you home to love. It's going to take you home to our true reality. So there's a part of us called the ego, which is the part of us that has been conditioned, the beliefs that we made up, the idea that we have of ourselves based on our past experiences and thinking that we're in the world. That part of us that doesn't always see us as totally innocent, that part of us that doesn't always see us as totally deserving, that part of us that may have been in control with its negative, fearful attitudes and insecure attitudes, the ego, that part of you, it tries to block desires that would lead you home. So if you arrive at home, it will mean that you will have had to give up being a seeker. If you really are ready to manifest your true path, your true soul expression, you're ready for real love, you're really ready to go for total peace, contentment, and happiness, then at some point you have to give up being a seeker. You will have to become somebody who has found. Let's say, for instance, the way of mastery really speaks to you, and it's another way for you to get home. It's another way for you to wake up, Earl. It's another way for you to experience joy, mighty companion, to get what's really important to you. then take the time to actually focus in on mastering it and using the exercises that Spirit is giving you to manifest your true desires. If I found the truth, my path, the thing that's going to get me to the level of peace that I want, then he says, then you should not be a seeker. You have actually found. And so what would happen if you actually found? If you've actually found the truth and the path that you're looking for, then you will have to rise above the crowd. That means you will have to give up all of your identification with being little and small. How do you rise above the crowd? I no longer see myself as just a limited human being. I see myself as a divine being expressing through being what appears to be a human being. You are a spirit. You are awareness. You are love. You are the divine expressing as you. So to rise above the fear of the world, to get beyond the negative thinking of the world, you have to see yourself as not the little limited self that the small limited voice that may be inside of you would tell you that you are. The most important thing, what would be one of the most important things that you must do to get in touch with your greater self and to get in touch with your power and to get in touch with your true spiritual identity? Would you like to know what that is? Well, what you have to do is you have to give up needing the approval of others. Give up needing the approval of others to get in touch with your greater self, to let go of identification with the little self. You have to give up needing the approval of others. You will not need the approval of others in order to get in touch with your greater self. You will have left the nest of insanity. When you start to believe the kind of truth principles that we are learning, you are really leaving insanity. You will have arisen. You will have taken your rightful place at the right hand of God. Is not that the deepest fear that you carry? Is not the deepest fear that you have is to be truly the incarnation of Christ, the true incarnation of the one self that we all share, that was created by a loving creator? So what is desire supposed to be? Desire is supposed to be fun. Your desires are supposed to be fun. Your desires are supposed to give you excitement and give you peace and give you a sense of joy and happiness. Your desires should turn you on. Your desires should be fun. Now, ideally, the once you practice this on your own, the once you've done this on your own, then ask your mate or ask a friend if they would be willing to embark on this process with you. The best thing you can do in a relationship is have the goal of waking up together to the truth of who you really are as the total love of God. If you give any of your friendships or relationships a spiritual purpose, that relationship will evolve and give you a sense of satisfaction and joy beyond anything that you've ever had. So once a week, maybe you and your mate or you and your friend who are both trying to embark on the awakening, you will ask each other, what did you come up with this week? What was the thing that you noticed this week? What have you learned this week? What did you find out about your desires this week? You call it undressing. This is a different kind of undressing in front of a friend. This is another kind of undressing in front of a mate. So I believe the Way of Mastery just told us that we needed to undress in front of each other. That's a trip. But what is the undressing? You telling me what you've come to realize over the last week or since the last time I saw you. What desires have you uncovered about yourself since the last time? Be vulnerable. Be open with someone else. It's called finding another child to play with. We need to look at the people who are with us on our spiritual path as playmates. You are my playmates. You are my spiritual playmates. I am your spiritual playmate. I am your spiritual playmate. Would you like to be my spiritual playmate? I'd love to be your spiritual playmate. So we're going to go into the spiritual sandbox, away from the adults that try to tell us that our desires are bad and that we need to be careful. So what do you begin to do? You begin to look at what is true and real. You begin to become aware of what's true. You begin to become aware of what you are seeing from a place of innocence. Your desires are innocent. I'm going to look at you as innocent. I'm going to look at the truth that I'm studying from a place of innocence. Now, after you have found the person that you will undress in front of, and by undressing, I mean what? Somebody that you're willing to share the desires that have come up for you, what you have really been truly wanting, and you're willing to be vulnerable and open about that. And when you're willing to look at things from a place of innocence, what's the next thing you do? Well, the next thing that you do is to begin to create for yourself a support group. You're right, CJ. Look at all these amazing playmates. I'm just like you. I want to play in the sandbox with all of you. CJ says, I have my shovel, I have my bucket, I have my Tonka toys, and I have my God toys and my God truth toys that I want to play with you with. So we have created within ourselves, we've created our own support group right now. But our support group is made up of playmates. So I see you as my playmates. And that could perhaps grow to 3 or 4 people, the group that we have online, 10 or 20, in which everybody is involved with getting in touch with what's really there. We want to help each other understand what? The principle that desire is the thread that links your soul to the heart of God. Desire is the thread that links you with God's heart. Your desire is the thread that links you to the heart of God. God, that which created us, the Creator wants only to extend through you. Love, freedom, abundance, and joy wants to extend through you that which expresses love in this world. Extending through you what expresses love, that is called creation. So what is it that I truly desire? I truly desire to have God extend through me that which expresses love in the world. That's what I want. I want God to extend love through me to the world. That's what creation is. Creation is extension. Creation is the extension of love. And yes, Kathy, you're right. What fun playmates that we have. We are so blessed to have the playmates that we have right now. So what is creation? Creation is allowing God to express through you that which expresses love in the world. So I want you to, I want you to take a breath right now and ask yourself, what is it I truly desire, while listening to Reverend Yolanda at yolanda.net if you want the music. And while we are listening to this, what I would like to ask you to do is ask yourself, what do I truly want? What do I truly desire? What do I truly want? What do I truly desire?
Although I speak with tongues of men and
what do I want? What do I truly desire?
I prophesy and understand the word. And though I have all faith to say to mountains you must go away, but have not love. And though I feed the poor and give up my life, if love has no place in me, then what am I? If I do not have charity, if love does not flow from me, then what is life? Love divine, love divine, love divine.
What do I truly want? What do I truly desire? What do you truly want? What do you truly desire?
Love is kind and love is wise. Love can never come from a jealous mind. It's never proud but gentle, meek. Resistance is not what it seeks. It sets the mind at peace. And love's the one that sings when the truth prevails. Love believes in good when it looks like hell. And love's the one that bears the wrong. Love's the one that's always strong and never fails.
What do you truly want?
And when I was a child, I acted as a child. And now I can heal myself from those times. The looking glass no longer dark. I see the light that's shining there within my heart. Child, I acted as a child, and now I can heal myself from those times. The looking glass no longer dark. I see the light that's shining there within my heart. Love divine.
What do you truly want?
Love divine.
What do you truly desire? What do you truly want? What do you truly desire? What do you truly want? What do you truly desire? What do you truly want? 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 What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? What do I truly want? What do I want? What do I truly want? What do you want? What do you truly want? What do you truly want? What do you truly want? That's right, Jim. I also want to have the correct perception of God. You're absolutely right. So, perhaps it is a worthwhile project. But when you don't turn to allow the embrace of desire, it says there's only one alternative. If you don't embrace the embrace of desire, it says there's only one alternative, and that is to live in mere survival. You don't want to live at just survival mode. So when you choose the energy of mere survival, whenever you choose the energy of mere survival, do you know what happens to you? When you just work at the survival level, then the world becomes your master, before which you will be made to bow again and 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 again, and lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. You will be a slave to the insanity that seems to rule this world. If you live at the survival level, then you will be a slave to the insanity that seems to rule this world. And let me tell you, as a person of color, I'm definitely not into the slave thing. Being a slave is not exactly something I really want to do. And I know you don't really want to do that either. So you will never know peace, and you'll never know joy, and you'll never come home if you're living at the survival level. That's just plain and simple. Do you know that you were not created to wither, and you were not created to die on the vine? You were made to bear forth much good fruit. You're here to bring forth a lot of good fruit. So what do? Well, what you do is you let the roots be watered. How do you let your roots be watered? You let your roots be watered by desiring. Desiring what? Above all things, desire to become the fulfillment of what God had in mind. Desire to become the fulfillment of what God had in mind when God breathed into you the breath of life. What I want to do is I want to become the fulfillment of what my Creator had in mind when I was created. I want to become the fulfillment of what my Creator had in mind when my Creator created me. I want to become the fulfillment of what my Creator had in mind when my Creator created me and breathed life into me. And I want to let that breath be received in every moment. You will come to see. What is it that you will become to see? What is it that you will come to see? You will come to see that there's only one question that you need to be preoccupied with, Earl. There's only one question that you need to be preoccupied with, my mighty companion. You need to be preoccupied with this one question. Here it is. How much of God am I willing to receive? How much of God am I willing to receive? How much of the divine am I willing to receive? How much of the divine am I willing to receive? How much of the true love and real love, how much true love and real love am I willing to receive? It's the same as saying, how much of God am I willing to receive? How much of God am I willing to receive? How much of God am I willing to allow to be expressed through me? How much of God am I willing to allow to be expressed through me? How much of God am I willing to allow to be expressed through me? How much of God am I willing to allow to be expressed through me? How much of God am I willing to receive? How much love am I willing to receive? How much love am I willing to be expressed through me? This is called separating the wheat from the chaff. The chaff is the thinking of the world that would want you to believe that you are small. You got to separate yourself from the thinking of the world. And what is the thinking of the world? The thinking of the world is the thinking that would have you believe that you are small. You are not small. You are not small. You are not small. You are awesome. You are not small. You are not small. The voice that tells you that you are small, the voice that tells you that you are not enough, I don't know how to break this to you, but that's not your voice. That's the voice of the program. That's the voice of the conditioning. That's the voice of the past that something has taught you to identify with. Any voice that puts you down in any way is not your real voice. So if you believe in the thinking of the world, then that is what's going to cause your personal suffering, your perpetual suffering. But what is the wheat? What is the wheat? Well, the wheat is the food that gives life because it is filled with the love of God. The love of God, the love of your Creator is the wheat. The thinking of the world is the chaff. So don't be afraid of desire. As a matter of fact, would you like to know what I would advise you to do, Earl? Would you like to know what I would advise you to do, mighty companion? Embrace desire. Embrace it. Embrace desire. How do you embrace desire? You touch desire. You feel desire. You know desire. You dance with desire. You sing with desire. You look at desire innocently and you feel desire totally. And then what do? You learn to discern. 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 You learn to discern through the ways that have been given you. You learn to discern through the ways we have given you what desire is truly. So decide to let your desire, your true desire, and what did we say earlier? The true desire should be, my desire is to fulfill the reason why I was created in the first place. I am here and I'm willing to fulfill my special function for having been created in the first place. My greatest desire is to fulfill my special function. My greatest desire is to be what God created me to be. Because I know if I will be what God created me to be, I will truly be happy if I allow myself to be what God created me to be. I will be happy if you desire to be as you were created to be. You would find all of the things that's causing you unhappiness on any level would be dissipated, would be healed, would be correctly perceived. Decide to let desire, your true desire, inform your choices. Why do you want to let your true desires inform your choices? So that you create a life that serves the fulfillment of that thread of desire. I had to do the same thing. I began to notice that there was a thread of desire in my heart to create some form of demonstration that would be so overwhelming that anyone who turned their attention to my demonstration couldn't help but be reminded that there is something far greater to life than living to survive. There is something far greater to life. There is something far greater to life than living to just survive and surviving just to live. Aren't you tired of surviving just to live or living just to survive? So you have to learn to trust desire. And as you learn to trust desire, this is what's going to happen. Would you like to know what's going to happen if you learn to trust desire, Earl? Do you know what's going to happen if you learn how to trust desire, mighty companion? Then the pictures in your life, what it is you should desire, what happens in your life, the truth that you should be manifesting in your life, it will become clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer. And so in those moments of revelation, when you're in those moments of revelation, then you come into the true awareness of what it is that you were born. In other words, you're going to live a life of revelation. You're going to live a life of the truth being revealed to you. You no longer have to hunt for it. You no longer have to make it happen. It's going to be revealed to you. Like Jesus says in The Way of Mastery, how could a teenager living in Judea 2,000 years ago have any way of comprehending the use of technologies of your modern world in which to communicate love? It made no sense to me, but still I decided to trust it. A part of that thread that was the recognition that death is unreal. And then down the page it says, because I followed the thread of desire, I began to realize that it kept speaking to me. The desire kept speaking to me day after day, week after week. The desire wanted to grow. The desire wanted to be nurtured. And finally I decided I am going to allow that thread to be nurtured. Tell yourself, I am going to allow that thread of desire to be nurtured. I am going to allow that thread of desire to be nurtured. I am going to allow that thread of desire in myself to be nurtured. I am going to discover where my desire takes me and what my desire is all about. I am going to discover where my desires take me and what it's all about. Where your desire will take you is into the mastery of life and death. Where your desire is going to ultimately take you is into the mastery of healing. Do you know that where your desire is going to finally take you is into the mastery of you, the mastery of yourself? Do you know where your desire is going to take you? Your desire is going to bring you home. It's going to bring you home to your own Christed beingness. That's what your desire is going to do. And Jesus says, because I followed that thread, I can talk with you today. There are many of you that appreciate what I've done because you see me as the spokesperson for the truth. It is not time. Isn't it time that you followed your own thread of desire? Isn't it time that you followed your own thread of desire? Isn't it time that you followed your own thread of desire? Isn't it time that you followed your own thread of desire? Isn't it time that you followed your own thread of desire? Isn't it time that you followed your own thread of desire? Yes, it's time that I follow my own thread of desire. Yes, it's time that I follow my own thread of desire. Yes, yes. For just as you have been sent to me, there will be many sent to you. There's going to be many sent to you. As you step from being a seeker to becoming a finder, there are going to be many that are going to be sent to you. And do you know, as you take your rightful place, then you're going to become a vehicle. You're going to become a vehicle. What kind of a vehicle? You're going to become a vehicle through which the voice for God will creatively touch the lives of countless people. And you may never meet those people physically. There are literally thousands of people that have heard my videos that I have never met personally, and I will never probably meet on a physical level. But I took my place. I wanted to be a vehicle for the voice for love. I wanted to creatively touch the lives of countless people that I may never meet physically. I hope to be a vehicle for the voice for God for you, even though I may never physically meet you. But you were born to be grand. You were born to be huge. You were born to be huge. You were born for greatness. You were born to shine forth. You were supposed to shine forth such a light into this world that the world remembers that light and love is true, and the darkness and the fear is illusion. So I want you to be that which you are. I want you to be what you are. It's time for you to be what you are. And do you know what you are? You are the light of the world. You are the light of the world. You are the light of this world. You are the real love of this world. You are the truth of this world. And I am delighting to journey with you. I am glad to journey with you. And I'm going to join, and I'm willing to join, and I choose to join with anyone who chooses to step into their Christ consciousness. I want to join with anybody that's ready to step into their truth consciousness. I am ready to join with you because you are ready to join into your Christ consciousness. The connecting thread between us is the thread of desire. So what should you do? What should you do? What should you do? Begin to turn toward the energy of desire within yourself. That's what you do. Begin to separate the wheat from the chaff. How do you separate the wheat from the chaff? First, by learning to feel the wheat, the love, the truth for just a minute without judging it. Just be willing to feel your desire for the truth and for happiness and for healing and for any desire that you have. Be willing to feel it for a moment without judging it, and then just deepen into that process of getting in touch with your desires without judging them. And you will reach the point where with every breath that you breathe, you're going to get in touch with the energy of desire. And that's the only voice that you're going to give authority to, is the energy of your true desire. Do you know? Do you know you won't even be able to keep up with the loving expression of creation that wants to express through you? You're going to be blasted open. And there's going to be so much loving creation that wants to express through you. You are going to marvel at the friends that come into your life. Do you know there's going to be some cool folk that's going to come into your life? When you get in touch with the energy of your own thread of desire, when you want to express what you were created for, you're going to have some cool people, like the people online with you right now. You're going to be surrounded by people who are totally awesome and totally cool. I tell you what, you're going to marvel at the friends that come into your life. You're going to marvel at the friends that come into your life. Gemma, I'm glad that I'm important in your life and that I'm a loving presence in your life. Gemma, I'm glad that you were supposed to meet me before you were born and I was born. All of us online right now, all of us mighty companions that meet at these different classes and gatherings, we have been together for many, many, many lifetimes. And we are going to the next level together. And I'm so glad to hear that. So you represent those friends that I'm marveling at that come into my life. And how you're going to marvel at your external solar system in which the planet spins and changes. You're going to marvel and wonder how all of this is happening. Do you know that you're going to finally discover that you are not the maker of your life? You're going to finally discover that you are not the doer of your life. Do you know that you're going to realize that God wants to direct and make life through you? God wants to direct life and make life through you. God wants to direct life and make life through you. And when you recognize that God wants to make life and express life through you, do you know that you will know the truth? And do you know what the truth does? The truth sets you free. So what will you say? Of myself I do nothing, of myself I do nothing, of myself I do nothing, of my little self, of my ego self I do nothing, of my little self, of my little self, of my little self, of myself I do nothing, but my Creator, my Father, through me, does all things, and it's very good. Of myself I do nothing, but of my Creator through me. But my Creator through me does all things. My Creator through me does all things. My Father through me does all things. My Father through me does all things. Your Creator through you does all things. And it's very good. Claim it right now. It is very good. It is very good. It is very good. So what do I want you to do? I want you to be at peace. And I want you to desire well. When you feel desire, when you feel passion, when you feel desire in your inner being, do you know that you are watering your roots? It's time to water your roots, baby. Water your roots. What? This is Earl Purdy, and I want to welcome you to Water Your Roots. This is Water Your Roots with Earl Purdy. Water your roots. How do you water your roots? You water your roots through the energy of life itself. The energy of life itself waters your roots. Your desires water your roots. So what should you do? Trust it. Trust it. Trust the desire. Trust the desire that's coming from the root of your being, that is based on your desire to fulfill your very function for being created. There is a function. You were created for a reason. You were created for a reason, and that reason is much more than trying to come up with the way to survive every day. That reason you were created was for much more than coming up with fantasies of what you would like to experience in the outer world that only gives you temporary satisfaction. Trust your desire. Embrace your desire. Let the petals of the rose blossom within your holy being. Let the petals of the rose blossom within your holy, innocent being. So this is what our invisible brothers and sisters are saying to us right now. This is what the unlimited idea, the divine within us, invisible and visible, is saying to us right now. We love you and we are with you. All of us online, all of us online, all of us watching, we are with you. I'm talking to you. We are with you. And what we are saying is, we love you and we are with you. 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 If you could only see how much enlightened help there is surrounding you at this very moment. You don't realize that there are so many invisible helpers around you right now. There are so many invisible helpers around all of us right now. We are surrounded by invisible helpers. As a matter of fact, that's literally true, because I can't physically see you. So you are invisible helpers that are surrounding me. You don't see the other mighty companions that are listening and watching this, that are supporting you right now in this physical world. You are literally surrounded by invisible, enlightened help in every moment. And if you knew that you were surrounded by invisible, enlightened help, do you know that you would never allow the fear of going astray with your desire to be victorious within your mind? You would never worry about your desires taking you astray if you knew that you were surrounded by enlightened help every step of the way on your spiritual path. And in your life, you always have invisible, enlightened help with you every second, every moment while you're on your spiritual path. And because you do, you can never go astray with your desire. You would step forth with boldness. You would start to be so bold in the way that you express who and what you are. Yes, you have to believe right at the moment God is showing you things that you can't deny. God is showing you things that can't deny. That's right, Jim. Truth sets you free. And that's right, Kathy. We are grand, huge, passionate, enthusiastic. We were born to be nothing less than brilliant. You were born to be nothing less than brilliant. You were born to be nothing less than brilliant. So how much of God's love are you willing to receive? How much of God's love are you willing to receive? How much of God's abundance are you willing to receive? How much of God's abundance are you willing to receive? How much are you willing to receive? How much are you willing to receive? In one of the earlier parts of The Way of Mastery, it described the four keys to the kingdom. What are the four keys to the kingdom according to the way of mastery? The four keys to the kingdom of happiness and love. The four keys are desire, intention, allowance, and surrender. Desire, intention, allowance, and surrender. Those are the four stages. Those are the four steps to the keys to happiness. I desire it, I intend it, I allow it, I surrender. I desire it, I intend it, I allow it, I surrender to it. I desire it, I intend it, I allow it, I surrender to it. I desire it, I intend it, I allow it, I surrender to it. I surrender to you, God. I surrender to you, my Creator. I surrender to you, universe. I surrender to you, love. I surrender to that which created me. I am willing to be what I was created to be. I'm willing to express the function I was created to express. Not my little small will, but my greater will be done. That was so frigging powerful. And I'm going to finish this up in just a minute. But I want to ask you again, how much of God's love are you willing to receive? How much of God's love are you willing to receive? So I want you to know that I totally appreciate your supporting and appreciating my teaching ministry. This is my function in the world. I'm a full-time teacher, and that is what I do. That is my function. And I want you to know that I truly, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate those of you who make financial expressions of appreciation, and that feels right and good in your being. And you're just as loved and just as appreciated by me, whether you do that or not. But if you like to make one, if you feel moved and you want to support my teaching ministry, then you can go to earlpurdy.com, earlpurdy.com. I'm also available for one-on-one sessions called Clarity Sessions, where I take my 40 years of teaching and counseling and my knowledge of astrology and numerology and A Course in Miracles and the Way of Mastery and A Course of Love and all the other teachings, and we bring that into the personal session that I have with you so that we can remove the blocks in your life together to the happiness and the peace and the joy that you want. All the information that you need about that is on my website at earlpurdy.com. And please go and sign up for my contact list so that I can make you personally aware when I have online seminars and workshops which are coming up soon. So if you want this cool music from Reverend Yolanda, you go to reverendYolanda.net, reverendYolanda.net. And Shante Cristo, that's the name, that is the name of the organization that puts out the Way of Mastery. So I want you to know that you are the light of the world. So I'm gonna complete this with some of the questions that you're supposed to ask yourself in order to allow your desires to happen. Please share this video. Please take a moment to share this video. Please take a moment to share this video. Please take a moment to share this video. Let's spread the word to as many of our brothers and sisters as possible. And so we're going to do the exercise one more time. And the question that we're going to take into the exercise this time, thank you. Don't forget, 7 p.m. on Thursday, Mountain Time, on Facebook Live, I do A Course of Love. Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, I do A Course in Miracles on Facebook Live. And of course, on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we do the Way of Mastery. I can feel you all so good. I love you. Thank you for sending those hearts. Thank you for commenting. So what I want to do right now is I want you to take a few questions that I'm going to throw out to you into your meditation, into the focus that we're having right now with Reverend Yolanda in the background. Here we go.
Let things be exactly as they are. You can't change me, and you can't change God. So let things be exactly as they are. in peace. I don't know what anything is for unless I listen to that still small voice telling me this simple truth, that everything is for my good. So let things be exactly as they are. You can't change me, and you can't change God. So let things be exactly as they are, and you and me will live in peace.
So ask yourself,
I'm not this body.
how much of God's love am I willing to receive? How much of God's love am I willing to receive? How much of God's love am I willing to receive? How much of God's love am I willing to receive? How much of God's love am I willing to receive? How much of God's love am I willing to receive? How much of God's love am I willing to receive? How much of God's love are you willing to exceed? How much of God's love are you willing to receive? How much of God's love are you willing to receive? How much of God's love are you willing to receive? How much of God's love are you willing to receive? How much of God's love am I willing to receive? How much of God's love am I willing to receive? I desire it, I intend it, I allow it, I surrender. I desire, I allow, I intend, and I surrender.
And you can't change God. So let things be exactly as they are. And you and me will live in peace.
Say what?
Let things be exactly as they are. You can't change me, and you can't change God. So let things be exactly as they are. And you and me will live in peace. Kumbaya.
Holy, mighty, juicy, loving, loving, loving companions, thank you again for joining me with the Way of Mastery, and we will meet again next week